Good morning, everybody. Now, this weekend in the UK, it is the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. Now, I know people have got different opinions about the royal family, but whatever you think, today there was a Thanksgiving service in St Paul's Cathedral, and on the way in, the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, was booed by the crowd. Now, that's very, very significant because he is a Prime Minister that is in really, really big trouble in the UK because he is known to be a hypocrite. After enforcing lockdowns for 2 years and getting the police to go round and harass people for not social distancing, not wearing a mask, etc., he was found to have gone to a number of parties in 10 Downing Street, and there was a general culture of having parties in 10 Downing Street at the time when he and his regime were enforcing lockdowns on everybody else. Now, of course, that is extremely unpopular, and people are now seeing through that and are saying, what on earth have you done to our country? Not only that, you ramped up fear while you yourselves clearly were not afraid of a deadly virus when you were trying to make everybody else afraid of it, and you ruined the country's economy and you ruined the country's society for 2 years, and the long-term consequences of that are still playing out. There are massive supply chain issues in the economy, not just in this country, but all over the world, because nations were acting in lockstep together to impose lockdowns over the last 2 years. But the crisis in people's mental health, in children's education, children in school have lost 2 years of education, and the youngest ones, some of them are not developing reading skills, social skills, because they've lost 2 years of vital development, and it's far, far more of a proportional effect when they're younger than when they're older. It still affects people at university, of course. It affects adults who are working and are losing their jobs, but for children, it really affects their social development. That's all a consequence of the Johnson regime's policies over the last 2 years. The other parties wouldn't have been any better. Labour would have done it even worse. They wanted even harsher and longer and earlier lockdowns than this terrible regime that we've got. So it's very, very telling. He's in trouble. He may have to face a vote of no confidence in Parliament next week if enough of the fake Conservative MPs do the dirty and actually put their letters in, letters of no confidence. And that will bring us into a very, very interesting situation in the UK. Now, as well as Boris being booed on the way into this church Thanksgiving service, apparently also Harry and Meghan were booed. Harry, of course, is in the lineage to the throne after Charles and William, and well, now William's sons as well. So the more sons William has, the more he goes down the order for the accession to the throne. I hope he doesn't ever become the king. But of course, he abandoned his position and went off to live in Los Angeles with his wife Meghan, and swans around the world on private jets while pumping the narrative of climate alarmism and telling everybody else that we need to change our lifestyles to save the planet while they go around the world. So the hypocrisy of the climate alarmists is very clear in that situation, as well as coming out with all this woke nonsense, which most people just can't stand. So they decided to come back this weekend for the Platinum Jubilee, okay. But yeah, the sentiment there from the crowds is understandable. So very interesting that Boris Johnson, the UK Prime Minister, and Harry and Meghan were the people who were booed onto the way on the way into the service there. Now, another person who probably would have been booed if he had turned up would be Prince Andrew, after settling for £12 million in a civil case with it's Victoria Roberts, isn't it? With the alleged events in Epstein's mansions and so on. Now, of course, he denies doing anything, but paid £12 million to someone that he says he didn't do anything with. This was a civil case, of course. I think there should be a criminal case so that these things can be tried in a court of law. Now, of course, we presume someone is innocent until proven guilty, but there has never been a criminal trial for Prince Andrew or any of the other people who are known to have been guests at Epstein's mansions or Epstein Island, apart from Ghislaine Maxwell, who of course is in prison, quite rightly so, but all of the people in her little black book who there is evidence against of potential child abuse should be put on trial, and that hasn't happened. So I think there would be an awful lot more people that we would boo if we knew who they were and they were actually put on trial properly. So very interesting that people are waking up to a lot of people in positions of power who are not acting in the best interests of the people. Very interesting indeed.